What's up, everybody? It's Living to Learn. Thanks again for watching one of my videos. I always appreciate it. I really appreciate the feedback as well. So thank you for those of you that have reached out to me, either to share some takeaways or give some suggestions. Shout out to those of you that have, given me advice, social media, my videos, everything overall. It's always helpful. It's always welcomed. I am by no means an expert on this. What I am is somebody that shows up and is focused on being consistent and on coming from the heart, coming from the head, being unique, giving you my perspective. But everything else, I'm I'm still learning, right? So thank you for those of you that have helped me out. Thank you for those of you that have subscribed to my channel. If you haven't yet, please do that. Please share these videos. Please like. Please comment. Again, suggestions, things you might want to see covered in future videos, topics, ideas. I'm open to it. I can't promise I'll cover everything, but I don't mind. I appreciate the feedback. Those of you that have been able to donate financially, I appreciate that as well. If that's something that you feel led to do, by all means, it does help me, be able to show up every week. And so, but again, that's something that's just, I put that out there. Again, it is helpful, but it's not the most important thing in the world. The most important thing in the world is that when you watch these videos, you take something away from them. You feel like, hey, something this guy said really resonated with me. Or, you know what, I never understood it that way. Or I never was able to take on a different perspective with such and such. And so I'm glad what I heard today on Living to Learn was, was the way he presented it. Okay, that's what means the most to me. So if that's what these videos have done for you, by all means, then, mission accomplished. And then again, life coach. I'm a life coach. I'm an aspiring life coach. If you feel somebody that you think might benefit from hiring someone such as a life coach, right? If you think it might be a good idea, if you're wondering if it's a good idea, send me a message on Instagram. It's at Live to Learn Coaching. Again, all these details are in the description of my videos. Send me a message. We'll go from there. Let's see if we're a good fit for each other. Let's see if what I have to offer is what you're looking for, what that person's looking for. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? It doesn't hurt to find out. With that being said, I want to get into this video. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the Santa Ana Handball Club. That's the shirt I'm wearing today, representing. Shout out to Gilbert Granado and everybody that is representing this organization. I had an opportunity to go out to a tournament that they had this last weekend. It was really cool. It's a nonprofit organization, and the idea behind it is to just present a positive alternative for the youth, for young men and women that just gives an opportunity to get outside, do something active. Handball is one of those things where it's pretty easy. You need a wall and you need a ball. That's it. Like you don't have there's no goal lines. There's no you don't have to take goalies and nets and all this other stuff. Pretty simple setup, and it's a pretty cool game. It's really competitive. We saw some great players this weekend, getting after it, and of course there was trophies and cash prizes, which, man, those are the best kind of prizes, right? And so it was cool. It was really cool. And then I'll be honest. I mean, it was really an honor to see my name up there, to see Living to Learn, at Live to Learn Coaching on the banner. As I was able to make a small donation, and it wasn't much, and I wish I could give more, and I will give more when I have more. But shout out to Gil. That was awesome, man. That was pretty cool to see my organization up there, right? I'm still small. I don't have an abundance of things, but I know where I'm going and I know where I'm headed, and I know that what my aim is. And so to see my name up there like that was really cool, and it meant a lot to me. I saw some other organizations up there that I'm close to, specifically the Jesse Miranda Center for Hispanic Leadership, which was run by my father. He was up there as well. Big sponsor, big help in that, to the Santa Ana Handball Club. And so shout out to them. It was a great opportunity to be a part of something, again, that's positive. Out here in Southern California, LA, Orange County, doesn't matter where, you're going to find pockets, you're going to find areas, some larger than others, where there's not too much opportunity for the young kids. other than trouble. And so things like the Santa Ana Handball Club, they fall right in line with what this channel is about. And that's really just building people up, helping them, attain something different, see something different that's going to help their life out, that's going to change their life in a positive direction. And so I was happy to be a part of that. But I want to continue the whole, the mental health conversation that I started in the last video that I made. And I kind of got into it a little bit, but I want to expand on it a little bit more, specifically about the topic of compassion, of having empathy. It really changes our outlook, okay? When we do our best, and again, this is my opinion. This is living to learn. I'm sharing what I think. If you disagree or you think otherwise, that's fine. Hey, respectfully in the comments, let me know. But my thing is this. I personally believe that it changes the way we see things. It changes our opinion. It changes our feeling towards something when we attempt to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. Now, you've heard it said before, you never walked a mile in my shoes. Or you're saying that about someone else. I've never walked a mile in your shoes. And that's the case. And I've brought that up with several other topics that I've covered on these videos. Right? The idea that I have no idea your journey. I have no idea what your path has been, what it's led to, where you come from. I don't know. It's impossible for me to know. Because you're you and I'm me. But at the same time, if I can make an attempt to step aside from myself, right? Step outside of myself and make an attempt to see things from your point of view. If I can try to see things the way you see them, that's going to change. That's going to change the way I think about certain things, especially things that I don't agree with. See, right now in this country, you can see it all over social media. There is a great. I don't want to give it too much shine because I think it's just comes with being human, right? We're always gonna be at odds, right? There's this old rap song, some guy named Witch Doctor, and I had never really listened to him. He was part of the Dungeon Family. Dungeon Family was like an old school, early '90s, collective hip hop producers and rappers out of Atlanta, and they had a bunch of rappers. Outkast, probably the most famous group that came out of that. But he has a song called Heaven Coming. And I wrote the lyrics down when I heard it because I thought it was great. And the lyrics go like this. No two men will ever agree. Or no two men will ever fully agree. But God loves to see the coming together of the family tree. And that stuck out to me because I thought, you know what, that's true. That's true. We're always going to be at odds, right? There's always going to be something that we don't agree on. I don't think it's this way. I don't think it should be like that. I don't think they should allow this. I don't think they should allow this. Or they should allow that. This should be allowed. This should... Either way, right? And you see it all over social media. You see this division. You see these people taking harsh stances on certain issues. And here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying not to have an opinion. You absolutely should. You absolutely should have a place that you're saying, listen, this is where I stand on this issue. Or, hey, you know what? I need to research this a little bit more before I decide where I stand on this. Okay, that's fine. You should, right? I have a position. I have a political view. I have a view on faith, on certain things. I do. I'm not necessarily going to share them here on this on these videos because that's not the point of this channel. The point of this channel is to help people out and to let people know that they're welcome. So I'm not trying to push anybody away because we don't agree. But at the same time, if we were to sit down in person and have a discussion, I have no problem. Presenting my case as to why I believe such and such, right? So I'm not saying you shouldn't have an opinion. But what I'm saying is understand that at the end of the day, we all live here in the same country. We all live in the same place, okay? We're all here. We all share a lot of the most similar experiences. And so I'm looking around, I'm thinking like, why does there seem to not be too much compassion? There's not a lot of empathy. And here's the problem with getting caught up in our own opinion and how we see things and just wanting to have our worldview. And this is just it. I have tunnel vision. I don't care what anybody thinks. This is how it's going to be. If you agree with me, we're good. If you don't agree with me, then you stay over there and I'll be over here. The problem with that is this. We fail to understand we have more in common than we don't. I want to tell you a story. And this is something my sister shared with me. I think I talked about this on one of my older videos, but whatever, I don't remember. I'm gonna tell it again. She shared a story with me. So my sister has, she has her kids, and she was going one day to pick one of them up, and I don't know I can't remember the whole situation, but she ended up having to hang out at the school a little bit longer, right? And so she runs into another mom who actually was a family friend of ours who we'd known for a long time. And, she says, hey, with this person, we don't really see each other a lot, but we are connected on social media. And I noticed on social media, she's like, basically they're on opposite sides on certain issues, right? My sister's over here, this person's over here, right? They have nothing in common when it comes to certain things. Right. In fact, they disagree completely with a lot of the stuff that they're putting out there. Okay. So my sister runs into her and they end up having a conversation. They end up talking and got to talking about certain things, certain topics. And here's the other thing too. Time out. I got to give a lot of respect to my sister, because for some of us, it's extremely difficult to have a conversation with somebody who does not stand in they don't fall in line or they don't follow the same type of ideology or thinking that we have about certain things, right? And I challenge you, if that's you need to find out how you can get better at that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be good for your mental health and it's gonna be good for those around you. Because if you're just so easily triggered and thrown off and just you start to get upset when somebody disagrees with you, that's an issue. That's a problem. That is a problem. And if we're going to make this a better place, if we're going to make our society, our circle, again, I'm not a superhero, right? My circle of influence is very small. Is it going to grow? I hope so. But it's always going to be pretty small because it's just me. So I have to come to terms with the fact that I can control what I can control, and that's it. But anyway, going back to the story, my sister, she had the patience and I believe the empathy. I believe a little bit of compassion as well to have a conversation with this person that she didn't agree with on a lot of these issues. And this is what she told me. This was her takeaway, because we talked about it later on. And she said, you know what? What I come to find out is that the things we disagree on, yeah, they're there. But the overwhelming majority goes to the things that we did agree on. Like the disagreement's this big, but the stuff we agreed on was... And I thought, you know what, that's really telling. That says a lot about us, about our society, even this just discussion between two people. I bet when you sit down with the person that you disagree with, that person you see on social media posting stuff, and you're just like, man, I can't stand anything they put on. I want to unfollow them, cut them out. I mean, okay, if it's really toxic and it's really bad, and it's just kind of like, it's just distasteful, disrespectful, do what you got to do, okay? But listen, that person, right, those people that are putting things out there, that are sharing this information that you don't agree with, you think it's wrong, what would happen if we actually sat down and talked to each other? What would happen if we actually had a discussion? And I bet, and again, this is a small, they talk about, statistics, right? You have to factor in a little bit of bias, right? So this is a very small, what do I call it? A conversation between my sister and another person is a very small, very small piece of data or whatnot, right? To go and say, okay, let me just paint this with a broad stroke. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say I bet that 9 times out of 10, we will find out that what we actually share in common is going to overwhelm what we don't. And this is what I don't understand. especially with certain organizations like the church, right? And I come from the church. I grew up in the church. I have a faith, but I don't understand why it seems like the church always starts with what we don't have in common, what we're at odds with each other, rather than focusing on what we all share in common, right? We're all human beings. If you cut us, we bleed. If you hurt us, we cry. Like it's there's so many similarities, more than the differences. Right? What would happen if we began to do that? And what does this have to do with mental health? Well, this is the thing. You've got a lot of us out there. We're all getting riled up, reading stuff on social media, reading stories, looking at posts, feeling, getting angrier, getting more upset, getting more, divided and anti this and pro this and you're my enemy. No, no. That's not the enemy. During the elections, you go around, right? During the presidential elections, and we got another one coming up in 2024. You go around, you see people's flags flying. You know who they're voting for. You know what they represent. They want you to know. But how often are we just driving by? We see the sign, we see the political party, and we write them off. They're How do you know that person couldn't be somebody that just could spark a great conversation, or it couldn't be somebody that has the same interests as you do? Or maybe you've been trying to solve a problem, or you've been struggling to come up with a solution to overcome certain things, and you just can't do it. How do you know that sitting down with this individual, like what would you be willing to put aside to get to something that you really want? And that's all I'm saying. What does it have to do with mental health? Well, we are setting ourselves up when all we do is indulge in the things that we want to see, the things that we believe, right? I'm just going to stay in this area because this is what I'm about. Nothing wrong with that. But what changes when we do our best to put ourselves in someone else's shoes? What changes when we do our best to see things from another perspective? And I'm going to challenge you even further. Engage with somebody in person. I spend a lot of time on social media. All right. I'm not condemning anybody else. I got to hold myself accountable first. I spend a lot of time on there. And it's great. But there's nothing like personal interaction. There's nothing like a face-to-face, even over the phone, conversation. Have conversations. Have conversations. It's going to help us. It's going to make us feel better. We talk about mental health. We talk about, what are we going to do about this and this? Why don't we talk to each other? Why don't we have discussions? Like nothing changes. What does the quote say? Nothing changes until I do. And that challenges me every single day, because there's always something. There's always something. And perhaps there will always be something that I need to change. And the only way it's changed is when I do. So that's my, my discussion. Think about what I'm saying. Just consider it. Consider it. Right? Because for me personally, I feel like what I'm here to do as an individual, as a human being on earth, is to help other people. And sometimes you got to get into the thick of things that you don't really agree. You got to step into to another side, another place. And that's something I've been challenging myself lately. Listening to podcasts, watching YouTube channels, reading articles from individuals and sides that I don't agree with. Because the disagreement for me is not enough. That's not the end. I think that's a terrible end of the line. I want to try to see where can we come together? Where can there be a bond? Where can there be an agreement? Because once you get on the same page with somebody, once you get on someone's level, you can start to kind of work backward. And now the things that you don't agree on, you might still disagree. I'm not saying you have to change your mind or they have to change their mind. But you can put it in a particular place. It's not the first thing you see anymore when you see this person. It's not the first thing you hear or think when you listen to them. See, that's what's going to stress us out. That's what's going to have us having breakdowns and these mental, health issues that we don't need to have. I'm not saying that's going to cure everything. But just time out. Let's try something different. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm advocating for. Have conversations. Talk to people you don't agree with. Find out where they're coming from. Do your best to put yourself in their shoes. Because I'll tell you what, just like that conversation my sister had with that other lady, you're probably going to find out, you know what? Out of 10 things, there's 2 we don't agree with, and there's 8 that we do. What's the majority? All right, the overwhelming majority goes with the things that you share in common. Once you find commonality, now we can begin to have a real open, understood, right, conversation where it's like you're listening, you have empathic listening skills. You're listening to understand, then to be understood. Like Stephen Covey says, like it changes everything. It changes everything. And I challenge you, and I challenge myself. I challenge myself to go out and have these conversations, to reach out to people, because I have people on my social media. I have people that I connect with, that I have love for, and we're just on separate sides of the field when it comes to certain things. But you know what? I'm determined to not let it just be that. I can't control them, but for myself, I'm not. That's not good enough for me, and I don't think that should be good enough for us. And what does that say about you when you're able to do something like that? What does that say about your personality? What does that say about your self-confidence? And again, these are things we got to work on. If you can't get there yet, find out why and start to do something about it. Because I'm gonna do the same thing. So anyway, that's my talk for today. I hope it helped. And I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great week. And thank you for supporting my channel. I appreciate it all. Have a good one.